Next on BGSU Brain Game, it is Defiance versus St. Francis. We better get ready for a hurricane of the hippocampus. That's right. Only one team can leave victorious. Who's it going to be? Only one way to find out. BGSU's Brain Game starts right now. Welcome to BGSU Brain Game. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for this episode. For Defiance, led by Coach Kerr. In slot number 1, we have George, a sophomore. In slot number 2, we have Andrew, a junior. And in slot number 3, we have Juan, a senior. Now for St. Francis in their lineup, led by Mr. Hunisco. In slot number 1, we have Jordan, a freshman. We have in slot number 2, Justin, a junior. And in slot number 3 is Luke, a junior. All right, let's get this thing started as we always do with our toss-up round. In this round, questions are worth 10 points apiece. No deduction for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can, I repeat, you can steal a question in this round. St. Francis, Defiance, are you ready? Here we go. Multiple choice question to start things off. Which U.S. president signed the act creating the National Park Service under the direction of, that would be Defiance, George?
Theodore Roosevelt.
Incorrect. Under the direction of the Department of the Interior in 1916, is it A, Woodrow Wilson, B, Theodore Roosevelt, or C, William Howard Taft? St. Francis, chance to steal, that'd be Justin.
Wilson.
Correct. Woodrow Wilson, A, is correct. Drawn up in 1941, which agreement between the United States and Great Britain defined the Allied goals for the conduct of the war? Hint, the title contains the name of an ocean. In time? Not in time. Atlantic Charter is what we were looking for there. Another multiple choice question. F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Diamond as Big as the Ritz is primarily set in which state? Is it A, New Mexico, B, Montana, or C, Idaho? That would be St. Francis. Justin?
C.
Incorrect. Defiance, chance to steal. That would be Juan.
B.
B, Montana is correct. When exposed to the air, this alkaloid turns brown. Identify the stimulant produced by some of the toxic nightshade family of plants that includes tobacco. That would be St. Francis. Justin?
Nicotine.
Nicotine is correct. In the Spanish monarchy of the New World, what title that begins with the letter V, and that would be Defiance, George?
Viceroy.
Viceroy is correct. In 1946, this American artist established a photography department at the California School of Fine Arts. Name this artist best known for his black and white. That would be St. Francis. Justin?
Rivera.
Incorrect. Photographs of Yosemite Park. Defiance, chance to steal. That would be Juan.
Ansel Adams.
Ansel Adams is what we're looking for there. Correct. What do we call the x-coordinate of a point on the Cartesian coordinate system? That would be St. Francis. Justin?
The ordinal.
Incorrect. Defiance, chance to steal. That would be Andrew.
The domain.
Incorrect. Abscissa is what we were looking for there. In the human body, which nerve extends down the back of the thigh to the lower leg and foot? It is the longest nerve. That would be Defiance. Andrew?
Sciatic nerve.
Sciatic nerve, yes. This double membrane cellular organelle that floats freely throughout, that would be Defiance. Andrew?
The plasma membrane.
Incorrect. Throughout a cell acts like a digestive system, taking in food and creating energy. Identify this organelle. St. Francis, chance to steal. That would be Jordan.
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria is correct. Begins with the letter S. What types of monetary grants or benefits offered by governments are given to private businesses or farmers in order to reduce that would be St. Francis. Justin?
Subsidies.
Subsidies is correct. End of round. Let's take a look at our score. Well, how about that? We are tied. Doesn't get any closer than that, does it? So we're gonna have to stick around and see what happens next. That's right, our risk and reward round's coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We are tied. Defiance is at 40 points. St. Francis is at 40 points. Before we get to our next round and start mixing things up again, I would like to welcome from St. Francis, slot number 3, Lucas. He is a freshman. Welcome to Lucas. Everyone else is staying with their lineup from the last round. All right, this is the risk and reward round. Both teams are going to get the same opportunity at 10 questions. The first 9, 10 points apiece, no deduction for an incorrect answer, so you can play a little bit looser on your buzzers. The 10th question is the risk and reward question. You can risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments based upon the topic that we give you. Get it right, you get the points. Get it wrong, negative points. A non-answer is also a negative point, or points. If you don't like the topic, you can simply pass and just head on out with 9 questions in your back pocket. Now, since our teams are tied, we did a coin toss in between rounds. St. Francis won that coin toss. They are sticking around. Defiance, out the door. To isolation you go. All right, St. Francis, are you ready for your risk and reward round?
We are.
Starts right now. The constellation Canis Major takes on what shape?
A dog.
That would be Justin.
A dog.
It is correct, a dog. Multiple choice. As of 2023, what is the second most populous Australian city? Is it A, Sydney, B, Melbourne, or C, Brisbane? That would be Justin.
B.
B is correct, Melbourne, correct. Which zone of the sun's interior that surrounds the core transmits heat from the sun's core toward the convection zone? That would be Justin.
A corona.
Incorrect. The radiation zone is what we're looking for there. In a civil suit, this is the person who brings the suit to court. What legal term is used to identify the person or entity who is suing? That would be Justin.
Plaintiff.
Plaintiff is correct. Multiple choice question. Which John Steinbeck novel chronicles the lives of the Trask family? Is it A, Grapes of Wrath, B, Of Mice and Men, or C, East of Eden? That would be Justin.
Grapes of Wrath.
Incorrect. East of Eden. True or false? Cats ran on Broadway for 18 years. That would be Justin.
False.
It is true. 18 years. In French, it means white card. In English, it means unrestricted authority. What is this term? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Carte blanche.
Correct. What U.S. Army general during the War of 1812 was nicknamed Rough and Ready?
That'd be Taylor, right?
That
Zachary
would be
Taylor?
Jordan.
Oh, sorry, Zachary Taylor?
Correct. Blockade Billy, the story of a catcher who vanishes from baseball record books, was written by what popular author? That would be Justin.
Green.
Incorrect. Stephen King, the guy who writes every book, it seems like. Risk and reward time. U.S. presidents. U.S. presidents. You can risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments on this question, or you can pass. St. Francis, what do you think?
30.
Going for 30 points on U.S. presidents. Who was President of the United States from 1953 to 1961? That would be Justin.
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower is correct. Woo! Said it wrong. Almost said it wrong. It is correct. 30 points to St. Francis. That is the end of the risk and reward round for you. It's now time for you to head off to isolation. Let's bring back in Defiance. Come on in. Welcome back, Defiance. I hope isolation treated you well. Are you ready for the risk and reward round? Starts right now. The constellation Canis Major takes on what shape? That would be George.
Wolf.
Incorrect, a dog. Multiple choice. As of 2023, what is the second most populous Australian city? Is it A, Sydney, B, Melbourne, or C, Brisbane? That would be George.
Melbourne.
Melbourne is correct. Which zone of the sun's interior that surrounds the core transmits heat from the sun's core towards the convection zone? Time. That would be the radiation zone. In a civil suit, this is the person who brings the suit to court. What legal term is used to identify the person or entity who is suing? That would be George.
Plaintiff.
Plaintiff is correct. Multiple choice. Which John Steinbeck novel chronicles the lives of the Trask family? Is it A, Grapes of Wrath, B, Of Mice and Men, or C, East of Eden? That would be Juan.
C.
C, East of Eden is correct. True or false, Cats ran on Broadway for 18 years. That would be Andrew.
True.
It is indeed true. 18 fun-filled years. Meow. Whew. In French, it means white card. In English, it means unrestricted authority. What is this term? Time. Carte blanche is what we were looking for there. What U.S. Army general during the War of 1812 was nicknamed Rough and Ready? Time. Zachary Taylor. Blockade Billy, the story of a catcher who vanishes from baseball record books, was written by what popular author? That would be Juan.
Don Updike.
Incorrect. Stephen King is who we were looking for there. Risk and reward time. The topic is U.S. presidents. You can risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments on this topic, or you can pass.
15 points.
15 points on U.S. presidents. Who was President of the United States from 1953 to 1961? That would be George.
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower is correct, plus 15 for you. All right, Defiance, that is the end of the risk and reward round for you. Let's clear our scores and let's bring back in St. Francis. Come on in. Welcome back to St. Francis. Side by side, here they are. Let's see our score. St. Francis has 120. Defiance has 95. A very close competition indeed. Things are just starting to warm up here. Coming up next is our category round where questions are worth 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30 points. Deductions start. Stay tuned. Welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We have Defiance at 95 points and St. Francis at 120 points. Before we move to our next round, let's welcome a new player to this round. In slot number 3 for St. Francis, it is Luke, and Luke is a junior. Welcome to Luke and to all of our returning players from the last round. This is the category round. This is where the power shifts a little bit to you, our teams. There are 6 categories to choose from. Inside each category are questions worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points. But I must warn you, deductions start now. If you go for 15, you are risking 15 points. You may confer before buzzing in, again, not after. If you do it afterwards, that is considered an incorrect answer, and you can steal a question in this round. There is one double or nothing question in there. Double the points, no risk. Just a reminder though, all questions are going to be open to all buzzers at all times. Defiance at 95 points, you get to make the first selection.
Let's do Color My World for 20.
Color My World for 20 points. Give the only secondary color whose name begins with a vowel. Defiance, George.
Orange.
Orange is correct. Defiance in control.
Let's do Color My World 25.
Color My World for 25 points. What term refers to a color scheme that uses tints and shades of only one color? That would be Defiance, George.
Monochromatic.
Monochromatic is correct. Defiance takes the lead.
Color My World 15.
Color My World for 15 points. Which primary color's name has the most letters? That would be St. Francis. Luke.
Yellow.
Yellow is correct. St. Francis takes control.
Square roots and exponents for 30.
Square roots and exponents for 30 points. What is -2 to the 5th power? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Negative 32.
Correct. St. Francis takes the lead in control.
Square roots and exponents for 25.
For 25, square roots, exponents. What is 7 to the third power? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
343.
Correct. St. Francis in control.
Square roots and exponents for 20.
Square roots, exponents, 20 points. What is the square root of 441? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
21.
21 is correct. St. Francis in control.
Square roots and exponents for 15.
15 points, square roots, exponents. What is the square root of 225? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
15.
15 is correct. St. Francis in control.
Square roots and exponents for 10.
For 10 points, finishing off this category, what is 3 to the fourth power? St. Francis. Justin.
81.
81 is correct. Clean sweep of that for St. Francis. Next selection, though, new category time.
Simple subject for 20.
Simple subject for 20 points. In each of the following sentences, identify the simple subject. 8 times per year, their dog gets groomed. That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Dog.
Dog is correct. St. Francis in control.
Simple subject 25.
Simple subject now for 25 points. Here is a diagram of the garden. That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Diagram.
Diagram is correct. St. Francis in control.
Simple subject 30.
Simple subject now for 30 points. The painting was done by Lucy. That would be Defiance. Andrew.
Painting.
Painting is correct. Defiance takes back control.
American first for 25.
American firsts for 25 points. Based on the given clue, identify these American firsts. Who was the first female to serve as the U.S. Secretary of State? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Albright.
Albright is correct. St. Francis takes back control.
Simple subject 15.
Simple subject now for 15 points. Does the wind always blow here? That would be Defiance. Andrew.
Wind.
Wind is correct. Defiance takes back control.
Color my world for 30.
Color my world for 30 points. What do we call colors such as white, black, and gray that have very little impact? They are considered neutral. Defiance in control.
Color my world for 10.
Color my world for 10 points. What secondary color is created when blue and yellow are mixed? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Green.
Yellow and blue make green. Correct. St. Francis in control.
American first for 30.
American firsts for 30 points. What American citizen became the first tourist to travel into space in 2001? That would be Defiance. Juan.
Bezos.
Incorrect. St. Francis, chance to steal. They are saying no. It is Dennis Tito is what we were looking for there. St. Francis in control.
Begins with FRE 20.
Begins with FRE for 20 points. Identify each of the following people, places, and or ideas that begins with the letters FRE. If the correct response is a person's name, his or her last name begins with FRE. Member of an international order established for mutual help and fellowship, which holds elaborate ceremonies. That would be Defiance. Juan.
Freemasons.
Freemasons, correct. Defiance takes control.
Begins with FRE 25.
Begins with FRE for 25 points. The art of painting on fresh, that would be Defiance. George.
Fresco.
Fresco, moist platter with pigments dissolved in water. Defiance in control.
Begins with FRE for 30.
Begins with FRE for 30 points. Capital of New Brunswick, Canada. That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Freeport.
Incorrect. Defiance, chance to steal. That would be George.
Fredericton.
Correct. Defiance in control.
Begins with FRE for 15.
Begins with FRE for 15 points. A photographer or writer who submits, that would be Defiance. Juan.
Freelancer.
Freelancer is correct. Defiance in control.
American first for 20.
American firsts for 20 points. First woman whose picture appeared on a U.S. coin. That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Tubman.
Incorrect. Defiance, chance to steal. That would be George.
Sacagawea.
Incorrect. Susan B. Anthony. Defiance in control.
American first for 15.
American firsts for 15 points. End of round. Let's take a look at our score. Well, things have changed quite a bit here. Defiance, 225 points. St. Francis, 265 points. A very close game indeed. I told you it'd be a hurricane, and here we are. Stick around. The brainstorm round's coming up next. 20 points apiece per question, negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. Anybody's game. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. Defiance 225, St. Francis 265. It's a close game. I love it. Before we get to the next round, let's welcome a new player to the team of St. Francis. We have Terry in slot number 1, and Terry is a sophomore. All right, this is the brainstorm round. It all comes down to this. Let's finish strong, finish fast. Questions worth 20 points apiece. Negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, not after. If you do that as an incorrect answer and you lose 20 points. No stealing. I repeat, no stealing in the brainstorm round. We are in a potential tie situation. If we tie at the end of this game, we will move immediately to a tiebreaker question round. You must win with a correct answer if that happens. But we'll talk more about that if and when it happens. Right now it's brainstorm time. St. Francis, Defiance, are you ready? Brainstorm starts right now. Which chamber of the heart receives freshly oxygenated blood from the lungs via the pulmonary vein? Time. Left atrium. Name the only U.S. state whose entire eastern and western borders are formed by rivers. That would be Defiance. George.
Iowa.
Iowa is correct. One of Leonardo da Vinci's best-known paintings is formally entitled La Gioconda. That would be St. Francis. Justin.
The Mona Lisa.
It is indeed the Mona Lisa. How many tablespoons in a cup? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
24.
Incorrect. 16. Which is the smallest of the Great Lakes in surface area? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Ontario.
Ontario is correct. As of 2023, how many members are there of the House of Representatives? That would be St. Francis. Luke.
435.
Correct. Who wrote Poor Richard's Almanac? That would be Defiance. Juan.
Franklin.
Franklin is correct. In what body of water does the Volga River drain? That would be Defiance. George.
The Caspian Sea.
Caspian Sea is correct. What do we call the upward force water exerts on an object? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Buoyancy.
Buoyancy is correct. What is the capital of Haiti? That would be Defiance. George.
Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince is correct. The chief river of Southeast Asia, this waterway forms a good part of the Laos-Thailand border. That would be Defiance. George.
The Mekong.
The Mekong is correct. What is a chanticleer? Time. It is a rooster. In what month did the U.S. enter World War II? St. Francis. Justin.
December.
December is correct. In what city would you find the National Museum of Scotland? That will be St. Francis. Justin.
Glasgow.
Incorrect. Edinburgh is what we needed there. What is the full title of the celebrated jumping frog of blank county? That would be Defiance. Juan.
Calavis.
Correct. Who discovered the neutron? That would be St. Francis. Justin.
Chadwick.
Chadwick is correct. Which type of energy transfer takes place when molecules collide, causing the energy to pass from warmer items to cooler items? That would be Defiance. George.
Conduction.
Conduction is correct. In what U.S. state can you find the world's largest gypsum dune field? Time. End of round. Let's take a look at our score. St. Francis 345, and our winners with 365 points is Defiance. Let's give both these teams a big round of applause. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, let's come out, meet in the middle, shake hands. We'll see you at the next BGSU Brain Game. Come out, meet in the middle there, everybody.